Hey everybody, welcome back to JT channel and welcome to my review, reaction, whatever you want to call it, to WWE Backlash that took place last night from St. Louis, Missouri. The TLDR version is that I liked it a lot. If you are some of the people that tune into my channel, only watch the first minute or two of my videos, there's your short version as I really enjoyed it. But I'm going to go into each match, just kind of talk about what I liked about it. I'm not here to walk you through every single move that happened. There are people that are better suited to do that. And I'm also not here to rate or rank. I am just here to tell you my thoughts and feelings. So, the first match of the night was surprising to me as far as the order of the show went. Excuse me, I kind of always assumed we were going to start with either Becky and Lyra or Gunther and Pat. I kind of like the structure of the show now that I've had a chance to look back on it. But the first match was the United States title match, which was Jacob Fatu defending against LA Knight. Yeah, Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre. And this was perfectly fine. That probably sounds like an insult to some. What do you mean perfectly fine? It was the best. No, it was really good. It was exactly kind of what you expected it to be. Drew and Damian split off in the early going, and so did LA Knight and Jacob Fatu. Those are kind of like the two feuds that were pushed together in this one match. And I don't know, I feel like it just worked. You had a lot of good moments. You had a part where, like, Damian Priest chokeslammed everybody. LA Knight BFT'd everybody. Or maybe it was the back elbow, I don't know. And then I think Drew McIntyre hit a neck breaker on everybody. And it was good. It was really good. It looked really good. There was a spot where I think everybody hit their finish. Or everybody hit big moves, including Drew hitting like a Claymore on Damian. It just looked awesome. I think he hit like the choke slam, the South of Heaven on, I can't remember who, obviously either Fatu or Knight, and then he was like getting back up from it like on one knee, and Drew just nailed him with the Claymore. It was really good stuff. Lots of awesome spots from Jacob Fatu where he was getting beat up and he just pop up and go do that little shake he does and scream and holler and beat Jacob Fatu. I know everybody wants to talk about, so I'll talk about it. Later on in the match, I believe Drew and Damian went to the crowd after, I think Damian pulled the referee out after McIntyre had hit a Claymore, I believe on LA Knight. And so they brawled into the crowd up onto a couple of the equipment boxes, or of course, box-like structures. And Damian hit a South of Heaven off of that through a couple of tables. Now, that spot never gets old. It's probably about 10 feet in the air, which is not, that's pretty high up, don't get me wrong. But they always shoot it so it looks higher. And, it's two tables. It was obvious what was going to happen. But the big thing coming out of that is apparently McIntyre's head missed the table on the landing and actually hit the concrete. So I hope he's okay. Real life okay, not WWE okay. Drew has been absolutely brilliant for the last couple of years, and I didn't know that until I was watching my recaps that I watched first thing in the morning that kind of like refresh my memory before I do my videos. And yeah, that's not the best thing ever to hear. It was a really cool spot, and again, when they started going up, you could kind of feel something big was going to happen, and then when they did that camera shot from way up high, before they even got on the equipment boxes, you could tell from a mile off they were going to go flying through some tables. But then, the other big thing everyone wants to talk about is LA Knight was going to do his little elbow drop he does from the second rope, or the top rope. I think he does like a leap up, but he was just going to do it from the outside of the ring through the table on Fatu when Solo Sikoa showed up. Solo pulled him off the announce table, and LA Knight went to deal with him, and then somebody hit a massive clothesline on LA Knight. Left arm clothesline. Those always look cool for some reason. And it was, of course, Jeff Cobb. Now, before I get any further into this, I am going to do something new in this video. I'm going to introduce something called JT's Tips and Tricks. I am here to help all of you. Today, we are going to briefly talk about what happens when a professional wrestler debuts or shows up in a company that you like that you don't know. Now, there are a few options. One, you can go on to social media and just type "who" with a question mark. Two, you can go out of your way to insult the individual because you don't like how they look, again, on social media because you never do it in person. Or three, you can do research and figure out who they are. Now, personally, I would do number 3. But if you do number 1 or 2, people are going to tell you to do number 3 anyway. And if you do number 2, there's something wrong with you. Why insult somebody? So, my tip and trick for you at home, if you do not know who Jeff Cobb is, you can go to one of 3 places. You can go to YouTube. That is my first thing. You can go onto YouTube, look him up, and you'll find probably some pretty interesting content on there. Number 2, you can go to Wikipedia. Wikipedia is, I know people don't like Wikipedia, but it does usually have all of the information you need. Or number 3, the easiest one is you can go to Google and you can type in his name. Am I being a little bit of an asshole and a little bit sarcastic? Yes, I am, because I am really sick and tired of this shit. I really am. This is another video for another day, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. But if you don't know who the wrestler is, just fucking look it up or listen to the commentators. Michael Cole's like, oh my god, that's Jeff Cobb. Are you fucking deaf? Just do your research. It's okay. I'm not saying do your own research. Like, let's not get into that. But if you don't know who a wrestler is, just look them up. It's not hard. I know who Jeff Cobb is. I've been watching Jeff Cobb for like 8 years, 7 years, however long he's been around, basically. And I knew he was coming to WWE soon, so I was excited. I don't have to care about the people at home other than myself, and I shouldn't make this big of a deal about it, but after wrestling shows are over, I do like to get the online reaction to stuff, and that just always pisses me off. Who is this? And somebody called him a short, fat loser who's finally getting a break. Dude, he's been multiple champions in multiple companies around the world. I hate to remind everyone of this, but WWE is not the end-all, be-all, especially not in 2025. So, there's your tip and trick for the day. Google it, goddammit. Anyway, so Jeff Cobb shows up. He clotheslines LA Knight, and of course, the best part to me is Jacob Fatu had no clue he was going to be there. He just kept looking at him like this. And he did it for a while. Like, I was like, is Jacob Fatu going to lose his title because he's doing too much confused looks? But no, he got back in the ring and he hit his moonsault, which was the PME, by the way. He retains his title. Really good match. Again, I'm very excited to see what they do with Jeff Cobb. The only complaint I will agree with, and it's not really a complaint, it's a concern, is that it's like, okay, what do we do with Jeff Cobb? Like, I almost 101% positive he's not part of the NOI Samoan dynasty. So Solo Sikoa is going to have to explain why on earth did he bring him into their group, which has been the Bloodline since 2020. For 5 years, it's always been these, other than, Sami Zayn and Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman was the wise man who helped Roman Reigns get there. And Sami Zayn was supposed to be a joke. Was supposed to be like a couple weeks, but that ended up working out really well. So now Solo's got to explain, okay, why have I brought Jeff Cobb into this? I mean, other than the fact that he's an absolute fucking unit. Okay? Clearly I'm emotional about the online reaction to Jeff Cobb, but it was a really good match, great opener. It really kind of set the tone for the rest of the show, and it stuck in the back of your brain no matter what. Throughout the rest of the night, you were like, man, Jeff Cobb's in WWE now. Whether you knew who he was or not, you knew he was there. So, great opener, and the right ending. I believe I picked and predicted Jacob Fatu. Following up was, in my opinion, the most surprising result of the night probably by a mile. I think everything else was pretty much expected. But sorry, I didn't get a chance to pause before trying to deal with this. But it was Lyra Valkyria defending the Women's Intercontinental Championship against Becky Lynch. I had picked and predicted Becky Lynch because it seemed like the right way to go. You beat Lyra, and then you go down the Becky Bayley path or the Becky-Lyra rematch path. But as you're about to find out, I was wrong. A lot of people were wrong, I think. First things first, from a in-ring standpoint, like from the wrestling standpoint, this could possibly be argued as the match of the night. Lyra and Becky are incredible together. Lyra has improved significantly, constantly, I think. I saw, again, something that made me really angry looking at the reactions to the show. Somebody called it a botch fest, but I couldn't stay too mad because they had like 37 replies, and most of them were you watching the match like this? Like, what is wrong with you? There was like maybe one slightly messed up spot where I think somebody slipped, and apparently slipping while doing your job in front of thousands of people commits and becomes a total botch fest of a match. You cannot stand the internet wrestling community. But anyway, it was really good. Tons of great back and forth. There was a part where Becky went to grab a chair, and then Jessica Carr, the referee, took the chair out, and Becky exposed the turnbuckle. And then Becky went to use the turnbuckle. This is the part I'm talking about. I couldn't tell if it was on purpose or not, like if it was what was meant to happen or if it was a slip-up, where Becky went to throw Lyra into the exposed turnbuckle and Lyra hit the second turnbuckle instead. I'm still not sure if that was planned or if Lyra slipped. That's the part I'm talking about. And then Jessica Carr went to go put the turnbuckle pad back on the turnbuckle. Lyra had hit the Nightwing. So she was trying to put the turnbuckle pad on, saw Lyra had a cover, dropped the turnbuckle, and went and counted the 1-2 kick out. I saw one of my favorite reactors. I'm not going to name him because I don't want people to think I'm coming after somebody. But one of my favorite reactors was like confused or upset or something about that part. And I'm like, I don't get what's hard to get. It was like when Jey Uso did that dive and accidentally hit the top rope, and the whole internet burned down overnight. And then the following week, he slipped on a spear. WWE had turned it into a story, right? The slip was on purpose. It was like, oh, Jey Uso can't focus on Gunther. And then he ended up becoming world champion anyway, and they had a banger at WrestleMania, Shut Up. This is the same thing. This was all scripted. Like, this is part of the match. Jessica Carr, as a referee, was doing her job, putting the turnbuckle back on, was like, oh, crap. A competitor has a pinfall. I might as well just stop what I'm doing. So I don't get what's confusing. It wasn't a botch in any stretch, any way, shape, or form. But people on the internet are judgmental assholes. The surprising part was the finish. Becky went for the manhandle slam, but then switched it up into a roll-up, which Lyra kicked out of. And they did a little back and forth with the roll-ups, and Lyra got the better of Becky Lynch. 1, 2, 3. So she retained her title, but didn't have time to think about it because Becky popped out from the cover and started beating the hell out of Lyra, pulling on her arm. She had to be, dragged away. So I was definitely surprised by that finish. There was a few seconds where I was like, is that supposed to happen? And of course it was, because now they've set up the rematch, which will likely either happen at Saturday night's main event or whatever the next pay-per-view is. There's a lot of PLEs, Saturday night's main events, special events, whatever coming the rest of the year, so I'm not going to try to speculate on when the rematch is going to be. But it was really good. Like I said, for me, I didn't see any botches. I don't know what people are talking about. I think people are just mean to Lyra Valkyria for no reason, because she's not Dakota Kai. And I know we're all upset that Dakota Kai got released, and I know everyone wanted her to be the first Intercontinental Champion, but it didn't happen, and that tournament was long ago enough now to where it's just time to move on. Lyra is great. Becky is great. They work great together. Becky will probably win it in the rematch. Maybe you do that at Saturday night's main event in 2 weeks. That way people tune in to those more often, because they're just TV specials, right? You don't need to take them too seriously, but at the same time, if you want more people to watch them, you need to do something big. You need to do a title change, a big return, a big debut. You need to do an angle that gets people talking, so they're like, man, these are kind of important, aren't they? We'll talk about what else might go down when we get to the main event. So overall, really good match. I'm not disappointed by the finish. I was just surprised, and it looked like Lyra might have actually gotten hurt at one point, but I haven't heard anything. So that was the women's Intercontinental title match. We moved right to the men's Intercontinental title match at this point. And one reviewer I will mention every chance I get is Simon Miller, and he put it the best in his breakdown, not the ups and downs, his own personal channel breakdown. When this match started, as it went on, I just kind of was waiting for the Judgment Day to interfere. And maybe that's a bad thing, because it was kind of like the first match, you knew Solo Sikoa was going to interfere. I didn't know for sure where Jeff Cobb was going to show up, but there was a rumor. Everyone was like, he's probably going to show up at Backlash. Same thing, like Saturday night's main event. You got to make these B pay-per-views feel big. And then for the Judgment Day, for this match, you just knew the Judgment Day was going to get involved. And then you kind of were like, well, there's going to be some kind of interference and nonsense in the rest of the card, isn't there? So Becky and Lyra got away with just having a match. So good for them. But Penta versus Dom, I said this on my picks and predictions video that I thought this could be the match of the night. I think it lived up. I really do. I said an argument could be made for Becky and Lyra, but these two matches back-to-back was a really, really smart idea. They were Both really good. Dominic Mysterio is one of the best in WWE right now. I'm not going to buy into the whole best luchador in the world or anything, or of all time, but he's a really fucking good. He's been good for a long time. He's just a bad guy. You're supposed to boo him. You're supposed to not like him. But the reaction he got at WrestleMania, and people are starting to really realize how good he is, which is why he was put in the match in the ring with Penta. Penta's one of the best wrestlers in the world right now, period. I've mentioned before how much I love the guy. He can get a good match out of me, and all I've ever had is 7.5 months of training and one unofficial match that lasted 2 minutes. But he didn't need to drag Dominic to a good match. It was going to be a good match anyway. It really was. There was lots of really, really good spots. Lots of dives, lots of Hurricane Ranas, lots of this, that, and the other, you know. It's what you expected from these two men. The best part, though, was the Destroyer on the apron for me. I love the Destroyer. I've said it a bunch of times. It's like my favorite move ever. I love the Destroyer. And the reason I like it when Penta does it so much now is because it's only in Penta matches you get it. Like, I know people always crap on AEW for doing too many Destroyers, and I think they've kind of toned it down lately. But in WWE, you never saw it. It was really, really rare, and now Penta's the only one who does it. It is part of his arsenal. They don't really sell it as a finishing move. I think he did beat JD McDonough with it, which was nice. I loved that. But I think Dominic did it to him once, too, so that's cool. But it was right after. It was Destroyer on the apron, right? Penta hits a Destroyer on the apron. Out comes Carlito. He distracts the referee. JD McDonough and Finn Balor. Jesus Christ, I've never had so much trouble saying his name before. JD and Finn come out. They go after Penta. JD's holding Penta and Finn's going to punch him. He's like, wait, I got a better idea. He goes and gets a steel chair. The referee catches him. This is the ongoing story where Finn, every time he's supposed to help Dominic, he always takes too long or causes the wrong kind of distraction. I don't know where we're headed with this story. Well, I know where we're headed. We're probably headed to Dominic versus Finn somewhere down the line. But I don't know if Finn's going to break up with the Judgment Day, if Judgment Day's going to kick Finn out. I have no idea, but they all get thrown out. But while all this is going on, Finn is yelling at the referee. El Grande Americano shows up and headbutts Penta, likely with the loaded mask. And then Dominic hits the frog splash and gets the 1-2-3. It was a great match. The ending was pretty obvious, I think. I didn't really think about El Grande at first, but he has been interfering in Penta's matches as well. That's likely going to be a mini feud, which, for the love of God, needs to end with El Grande being unmasked. I am part of the online little fun crowd, and I've done it in some of my videos. I'm like, man, I can't believe WWE signed this cool luchador, pretending I don't know who it is. It's Chad Gable, okay? And I was into the story at first, and I was all like, this is fun, this is great. You know, Chad Gable was willing to do anything. Remember when he was freaking Shorty G? But then I said at WrestleMania he should lose or win, it doesn't matter, and get unmasked. That didn't happen. So we're still running with this story, and for me it petered out at WrestleMania. I'm still having fun with it. Like I said, joking around online with people who are like, oh, I wish they would just unmask Chad Gable. And I'm like, what does Chad Gable have to do with El Grande Americano? It's fun, but if I think the storyline should have died, 3 weeks ago at WrestleMania, it's time to end it. Whether it's at Saturday Night's Main Event, Monday Night Raw, Money in the Bank, whatever pay-per-view is next. But let me just get off my high horse here. It was a really good match. Yes, the finish was kind of obvious, and it's aping a lot of the stuff the Bloodline is doing, but everyone loves Dominic Mysterio, just like everyone loves Jacob Fatu. So following up from this was Gunther versus Pat McAfee. Now, I said on my picks and predictions video that most likely Pat would get some offense. I didn't want it to be a total squash match. I know some people did. Some people wanted him to just run through Pat McAfee, maybe like boot him in the face, elbow him in the head, bust him open, hit 600 powerbombs and choke him out, and Pat McAfee either dies or goes away forever. People really don't like Pat McAfee. I am not one of those people. I love Pat McAfee. And now that I've went and relived everything, you guys have to realize that in WWE, in WWE's canon universe, Pat McAfee is a fairly like successful and consistent professional wrestler. Yes, he's mostly a commentator, but he's wrestled at WrestleMania. He had that great feud with the Undisputed Era where he had matches like one-on-one matches with Adam Cole, and that were really good. Like, Adam Cole's another wrestler who could drag anybody to a 3.5, 4-star match, but Pat McAfee's always been a good wrestler. I think his last match was WrestleMania 38 when he wrestled Austin Theory and then Vince McMahon. Don't talk about it, don't talk about it, don't think about it. So it's been a while since he's wrestled, but he proved last night he can still do it. I personally love his moonsaults. He's always got like a really good looking moonsault. He did one where he moonsaulted, landed on his feet because Gunther moved, and then Gunther went to German suplex him, and he landed on his feet again. Now, I'm talking really good about Pat McAfee, but don't for 1 second think this was a 50-50 match. No. Gunther still kicked his ass. Anything Pat McAfee did, Gunther just shrugged off. It was fun watching Pat McAfee do like chops and big spots and tried to choke Gunther, but in the end, Gunther just kept reversing and booting him in the face, chopping him down to earth, throwing him around. The only time that it was even feasible that Pat was going to win would be when Michael Cole got up from commentary while Pat was in the Boston Crab. And he was like, come on, Pat. You know, Wade Barrett had to carry commentary on his own. He did a great job. And then Pat was thrown like to the apron or something, and Gunther went to suplex him back in. Michael grabbed Gunther's foot and held it. So it was that spot where he kind of fell and Pat fell on top of him, 1-2 kick out. I bought it for a second because in the past in WWE and actually in all pro wrestling, when you just hold someone's foot, they can't kick out. But it's Gunther. He eventually went to powerbomb Michael Cole. Pat McAfee stopped him. Didn't last very long. He got booted in the face and then choked out. Pat had a brief spot where he was trying to break out of it and then fell and passed out. Afterwards, Gunther did a little like a hat tip thing to both him and Michael. Gunther's the kind of guy, even as a heel, if you are a good wrestler, you give him a run for his money, anything like that, he respects you for it. He's all about the ring, the mat is sacred and all that. So him actually wrestling Pat McAfee meant he walked away with the respect for him. From an entertainment standpoint, I think it was the best match of the night. Again, not wrestling wise, don't put words in my mouth. It was, as far as entertainment goes, I had a blast. I was laughing. I was enjoying myself. Like I said, I even allowed myself to bite on the suplex where Michael Cole was holding Gunther's foot, just because I've seen it before. And WWE likes to make bad decisions, let's be honest. So, it was fun. It was the most fun match of the night. How about that? It was the most fun match of the night. And, you know, I'm glad it wasn't a squash. I think it looks better as not a squash. Just gotta see what Gunther does next. Then it was time for the main event. Now, in my picks and predictions video, I missed out on something and I felt bad about it. I almost like added a little like couple minute section. I was gonna just redo the video, but instead I think I talked about it here. We'll talk about the finish, and that's what I left out. So it was Randy Orton versus John Cena. Randy Orton's hometown. Huge pop. Randy Orton could have, I don't know, done the waltz and he would have gotten a huge pop. So it was classic. Everything that you expected to happen happened. I don't know why people think that's a bad thing. It's like, oh, this match was predictable. First of all, it wasn't predictable. They just did all of the things that they were always going to do and that they've always done. You know, what did you expect? Like, people have been like, oh, well, they're just going to do a John Cena Randy Orton match. Did you want them to do a John Moxley Chris Jericho match? Did you want them to do an AEW match where they're diving and doing and trading destroyers? Like, what did you want from John Cena and Randy Orton? But with the time they were given, it was really good. It wasn't too slow paced. It was, you know, it was a lot of fun. This was a fun pay-per-view in my opinion. I called it. I said they were going to do the AA into the RKO spot. It was one of the first AAs, I think. One of the early AA attempts from John Cena to turn into the RKO. But this was just, every time John Cena hit an attitude adjustment, Randy Orton kicked out. Every time Randy Orton hit an RKO, John Cena would roll out of the ring or kick out as well. So, really, it all comes down to near the end. I do have to talk about Randy Orton doing the AA to John Cena onto the announce table. He hit it, John Cena fell, and then the announce table broke, which I think pissed Randy Orton off. I don't know if this was actually originally part of the match or not, but he went and got a table and put John Cena through a regular table. Whatever the reason, it was awesome. But then eventually the referee gets taken out multiple times. The first referee, Chad Patton, got taken out a couple of times. But then Orton hits an RKO, like a big RKO, and another referee runs down. John Cena kicks out at 2. Then John Cena gets the belt while Orton's arguing with the referee. Cena goes to hit Orton. He hits the other referee, which I think was Eddie Orengo. So this was, shenanigans. And this is when Nick Aldis and Jamie Noble, Arya Daivari, Gregory Helms, other suits basically all come to the ring to check on Eddie Orengo because he got hit with the belt. And they're all like, oh my God, is he okay? And Orton's losing his mind. He wants to punt John Cena, and Nick Aldis is like, will you calm down? And Orton's like, I just need a referee. I need to win this title. And he RKOs Nick Aldis, and then he RKOs everybody else. Jamie Noble, Arya Daivari, Gregory Helms, some other guy I didn't recognize. They all catch RKOs. Every single one gets a massive pop. It's just good times. You knew Orton wasn't going to win, so WWE had to give him something to make his hometown crowd happy, and they loved this spot. And this is the part that I didn't talk about during my predictions that I really should have. Outcomes are truth. Over the last number of weeks, they've really been pushing on SmackDown specifically this whole R-Truth loves John Cena thing. R-Truth has always joked for years saying he was his childhood hero, even though I'm pretty sure he's a few years older than John Cena. And it's been a good joke, but they've really been pushing it lately. They've really been going for it. They've really been saying, I think on SmackDown this past Friday, R-Truth literally had a "Let's Go Cena" sign he was carrying around the backstage area. So R-Truth runs out, stops Randy Orton from punching him, catches another RKO. He catches an RKO. That's like 80 RKOs at this point. And then Cena hits him with a low blow, hits him with the belt. 1, 2, 3 wins, just like he did at WrestleMania. And for me, it was perfect. The match itself was really good. I think they were given just under 30 minutes, but it didn't feel like it. There are sometimes matches that are given 25 to 30 minutes, and by the 16-minute mark, you're like, is this over yet? Good Lord Almighty. The main event of WrestleMania 25. If you don't believe me, try to watch it. This was really good. It was like I said, it was exactly what you expected. I should have seen the R-Truth interference coming. I did, but for some reason, I didn't talk about it. Like I've said a million times, this thing up here, it don't always work. But it was good. The aftermath is interesting. On his way out, he kind of kept looking back to the ring and kind of almost like he felt bad. Like you can see the gears are turning in his head about what he's doing, being a bad guy or whatever. And then during the press conference, he was like, look, I need to be more humble. I can't be, what kind of last real world champion am I if I'm not taking your questions, blah, blah, blah. And somebody asked him a question. I don't remember the question. I'm trying to. But before he could answer it, R-Truth came up to him and was like, hey, man, congratulations. And Cena started smiling and stuff. And he was like, I'm so proud of you. You're still my favorite wrestler. You're my hero. Even if everyone else says you absolutely suck and can't wrestle. That pissed John Cena off. He got up and said, Ron. He called him Ron. And he said, Ron, that was too far. You crossed the line. Stop talking. You say anything else, there's going to be consequences. And he set the microphone down, and he went to sit down, and R-Truth's like, oh, man, I'm just trying to... He got up, picked up R-Truth, put him through the table with an AA. So now the rumor has it that we're going to get R-Truth versus John Cena Saturday night's main event. Fantastic. I am so for this idea. I was thinking about it before the pay-per-view went on the air last night. I was like, I would love R-Truth to get, murked by John Cena, and then him be like, you used to be my childhood hero, blah, 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 but now I got no choice to take the title from you. That should be the story. Saturday night's main event's only in 2 weeks, and it's on my birthday. Woo, let's go. And that's not a long time to build this story, but I don't think you need a long time to build this story. R-Truth's John Cena's biggest fan. Cena turned on him. He needs to come out on Raw or SmackDown and be like, and say what I just said. Be like, I thought you were my hero, but you absolutely suck. So I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to be the one to take the title from you. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to get her to quit kicking this thing. And that's easy. That's an easy story to tell. It probably will be a lot like the Pat McAfee Gunther match. R-Truth will get a couple of flurries and a couple of almost, but in the end, John Cena's just going to beat him. That's okay. You can do that. And we're also doing Jey Uso and Logan Paul at Saturday Night's Main Event, and probably Becky and Lyra, and that's where Becky can win the match, because she beat up Lyra after the match last night, so she's got like an injured arm, but she keeps beating her up on the way to Saturday Night's Main Event, and that can be like, oh, I'm injured, and Becky took advantage of that, so the story can just keep going and going and going. Overall, it was a really good show. If I didn't make it clear, I really liked the main event. I pretty much called it, I'm not saying I did not call the whole show. I've been decent at my predictions lately, but I was wrong about Lyra and Becky. I'm fine with that as long as the story is good. Overall, really fun. I can't believe it. I always think these videos are only going to take like 15, 20 minutes. They always end up taking a half hour or longer. But thank you everybody so much for watching. If you enjoyed Backlash, please let me know. What was your favorite match of the night? I still really, really, really enjoyed Gunther and Pat McAfee and Lyra and Becky as far as from an in-ring perspective and a fun perspective. Overall, the whole show was great. I can't wait to see what Jeff Cobb does. Again, remember JT's tips and tricks. You can just Google it. I prefer you go to YouTube because then you can actually watch and see if you like his in-ring stuff. Or you can just keep watching WWE. There's also that option. That the secret fourth option is wait and see. Just wait. Just give him a chance. But thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Like I said, leave a comment. What did you think about Backlash? What was your favorite match? Do you think it was the worst thing you've ever seen in your entire life? Was it the best thing you've ever seen in your entire life? I want to do something special for my birthday, but as of me speaking to you, I have to work that day, and it's Saturday Night's Main Event, and since I record everything on my phone, and the max recording time I've ever done is like an hour and 16, 17 minutes, maybe an hour and 20, I don't know if I can do a live reaction to a 2-hour wrestling show. We'll see. I'll come up with something. But yes, the next wrestling event that I'll be doing all this for, Saturday Night's Main Event, which again is on my birthday, 2 weeks from yesterday, May 24th. So I will see you then for the next wrestling videos. But until then, and until next time, this is JT Channel. I am JT, and I will see you in the next one.